Thank you so much for keeping it here on Morning at NTV. Stephen Imbide on Fefesu Echuga coming to you live from Bogolobi in just days. That is, to be specific, Tuesday next week. Kenyans will be waking up to another election. But the big question is Kenya ready for a new president? That's why I'm here at the home of the Minister of State for International Relations, Ladit Henry Okedo Oryem, to understand Uganda's position as Kenya goes to the polls. At least four people are in the race, and we know that the Kenya Kwanza Alliance's candidate, that is William Arap Ruto, is having it tight with the One Kenya Coalition's candidate, that is Raila Amolo Odinga. But this is another contentious election that is putting many people on tenterhooks. Honorable, good morning to you, and thank you so much for allowing me here.
Good morning, good morning. It's a pleasure to be here, and you're welcome to Bugolobi as usual.
Honorable, what is Uganda's position as Kenya goes to the polls? Because we know no one wants to see a repeat of 2007, the post-election violence that we saw in Kenya. But there is a lot of contention, and some people are nervous with what's happening there.
Well, we do not have any particular position. However, our view is that the parties in the course of the elections should always remind their voters or their supporters the need for restraint, the need for respect of law, and the need to not to resort to violence eventually when the results come out. We do not take sides in these elections. We have interest in both parties, and whoever wins the elections will be the president of Kenya and be part of the East community. As such, we don't take sides, and we will definitely be looking forward to working with whoever wins. But most importantly, we hope that eventually the result of the election will be respected by both parties, and also it will be respected by the followers, and that there'll be no violence thereafter.
The Nation Media Group has already released an opinion poll, results from the opinion poll, and they are indicating that for now, Raila Odinga is at 49%, while William Ruto is at 41%. But just picture a situation where William Ruto is the president, and we know that currently the sitting president, who has already bid farewell to the staff of State House, that is Uhuru Kenyatta, is already behind Raila Odinga. Just picture a situation when Ruto is the victor. This is likely to spur some cases of violence somewhere.
First of all, I have never believed in polls. Polls, there are different methodologies of getting to results of the polls, and depending what methodology you use, then you get the particular result. But I think that what you're telling me about a scenario where Ruto wins, what would be the repercussions following the fact that President Uhuru is supporting Raila Odinga. And I think that similarly, we could see the scenario, what would happen if Raila Odinga wins and Ruto loses. It could be either way. But I think that I do not expect the kind of violence that we saw in 2007. I think this time around, the candidates have been more restrained. The languages they've used has been much better. The elements of violence that might be emerging seems to be emerging, but I do not believe that in all circumstances that things would be as bad as it was in 2007. This is indicative in the manner why I'm saying this. In leading to 2007 elections, there were so many Kenyans who came into Uganda and took up the hotels, took up the accommodations, way before election, the day of elections.
But we know that we are living in the current times of hard economic times. Already fuel is getting closer to 7,000. And in some places, others are even going to 10,000. How have we, as a country, Uganda, how are we ready for this? Because we know Kenya is a big partner. We get our fuel from Kenya by rail and by road. Whatever happens with this election, how are we ready? How have we stocked our reserves?
Two things. First of all, we in the last few months we have been making preparations for the alternative route through Dar es Salaam port into Uganda. We have talked to the key players in the petroleum industry to ask them to make sure that there is an alternative route open, prepared, and if need be, made to be operational immediately. The second item, we have told the oil importing companies that it's important that they increase their stock the week leading to elections for fuel that is coming through Mombasa. So there is engagement between the minister, the responsible minister, to ensure that petroleum products and petroleum that we need are coming in big numbers for storage through Mombasa, and an alternative, the route through Dar es Salaam, has been tested and is ready for operation if need be.
Honorable, you were a politician, but we know that in Kenya we are seeing now those who are working together are now at loggerheads. We know Uhuru Kenyatta was working with William Ruto. We know that at one point Raila Odinga was in prison just because of the directive of President Uhuru Kenyatta, but now they're working together. In here, our country here, we know that Norbert Mao is working with the President Museveni. Still in Kenya, Martha Karua, who was at one time rallied people not to vote Uhuru Kenyatta, is now working, rather not to vote Raila Odinga, is now working as a running mate to Raila Odinga. What does this tell you about the politics of the region, but also the entire politics?
You see, this is the beauty of politics. In politics, the unique beauty of politics is that there is no permanent enemies and no permanent friends. And this is what's happening here. Whoever was your enemy last few months ago and whom you put in jail, today is your bedmate whom you have forgiven each other and put those things in the past, and for the sake of taking up an office, in a political office, high political office, you then say, let the past be the past, and then let us look forward. And that's what's happening in Kenya. You see, there is no permanent friends, no permanent enemies, and this is the explicit example which people should see.
But also, what does it tell us about Uganda's politics? Because we see Kenya is now going into another direction of having a peaceful transfer of power, hopefully. But here, it seems every time we go for an election, it's still contentious. We saw at least in Kenya the other time, the IEBC, the court was able to nullify a presidential result. But here, seems to be still elusive. What does it tell you about the way Kenya conducts its politics?
I don't know. In Uganda, every time we go to elections, it is very clear that those who feel aggrieved and those who feel that they're not happy with the results have the options to go to the court of law. That's the beauty of Uganda. That it's very clear, and there is no obstacle, and there is no impediment, or the government of the day, or the loser, or the winner, which is normally the NRM, stops you or influences the courts for you not to be able to petition. And we have seen each time the parties have gone to court and petitioned, and they've lost. And simply, in most cases, they've lost simply because they failed to put they have not evidence of the allegations they're making. They have failed to prove those allegations, and the results speak for themselves. Hence, they lose. So they should not complain, because if they were being stopped from going to the court of law and being prevented in some manner, then there's cause for concern. But in the case of Uganda, there is no such thing as stopping you to go to court if you so feel aggrieved.
There is also a huge task for the incoming president, because we know President Museveni has been working closely with his counterpart in Kenya, Uhuru Kenyatta, in Somalia, in DRC Congo. What is the next task? How easy will it be for the next president rallying the region into peace and stability?
The beauty of a good government is if you have institutions and systems in place. The individuals may go, but the systems and institutions continue to remain in place. I have no doubt that President Uhuru, who is leaving the office because of the rules of the Constitution of Kenya, he can only be served 2 terms, and the manner in which he's stepping out of the office, as you see. He's bid farewell to his staff. He's bid farewell to his people he's worked with in the region and in Kenya. He's left the office very smoothly. He's leaving the office very, very smoothly. Now, I am sure in order to avoid any disruption to his successor, he has put into places to ensure that the policies of being in Kenya against the Al-Shabaab and other policies that have impact in the region will continue to remain the same, and his predecessor will be able to build on that to move forward.
That's what Kenyans.
I want to wish Kenyans all the very best in the forthcoming elections. I want to ask them to respect the rule of law. I want to ask them that they should restrain from resulting to violence in any form or manner. There is no need for violence in elections. Elections comes and goes, and if your candidate loses this time, you should have to work harder next time for them to win.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Honorable Ladit Henry Okello Oryem, the Minister of State for International Relations. Stephen Ibidon Fefesu Echibuga, I've been with you and Honorable here. Of course, at 6:30, Priscilla Regina Naroga and Chris again, we are with you until the time Elvis Senono joined them with sports and more. Other guests join them. But on a sad note, I have to let you know that it's too bad for the Muslim community, for the people of Kayunga, but of course, all Ugandan, peace-loving Ugandans, because we've lost another son, that is Alhaji Nsereko Mutumba, who was at one time the spokesperson of Uganda Muslim Supreme Council, that is at Road Kampala, a person I knew and I worked with for some time, but also of late has been the resident district commissioner for Kayunga. We say Inna Lillahi wa Raji'un. Stephen Ibidon Fefesu Echibuga signing out for now. I'm out.